Okay, so
You
So that-
had a hand up over there.
I have a hand up over there. Thank you.
There was an article in the Times, which I need to bring today, but forgot, about whether we are inside the computer.
Whether we're inside a computer, whether we're inside a computer.
Did you see that?
I did not. Go on.
And I'll bring it next time so we can.
Right. The idea of being inside of a computer is a delightful speculation. Okay, and I have been down that rabbit hole many times with various articles, and I'm sure you have as well. And in fact, when it comes to that sort of really crazy idea, if you speak to the average scientist out there, they will not say sometimes that that's not so crazy. The idea that we live in a simulation, that in fact we are a simulation, each of us, and that we think there's reality out there, but in fact we are simply a computer program, each of us a computer program, and living in a larger computer program which simulates reality, and we think that we exist, but really we are just a series of ones and zeros explaining our existence. That has a lot of traction out there in the world. I don't think it's worth a damn considering. And I'll tell you why, and to see if I can convince you that while I cannot, under any circumstance, disprove that, I can make it something that you yourself will not be interested in. And here's the thing. If you are nothing but a computer program, then let's imagine that you decide, and there is by the way, there is a very beautiful 1-hour video that does this spectacularly, what I'm about to tell you. You are dying. You've come to the end of your life, okay? But you have a few more years left to go. You're not happy with your life any longer, but you say, I'd like to leave this life for another life, but one that is guaranteed me, not the one that everybody talks about, from which nobody has ever returned to actually report on the state of heaven and how much fun it is to be there. Nobody's ever come back and said it was great. They come back, they die for a minute, then they come back and they go, I was right at the pearly gates and it was really great, and I'm so happy. I'm going back. I'm happy to do that. Okay, and that's a life-death experience, which I don't particularly buy into. I don't know who does in this room, but you.
I died and came back.
You died and came back. So, and if you have died and come back, I do not fault you for absolutely being in love with the experience and actually being convinced that there's a better place up there and it's okay to go to. I really do. It's like everyone who's ever had that experience, it has it as a positive experience. So I'm not.
I didn't see pearly gates.
Oh, what did you see?
I saw the end of my life. I said goodbye to everybody, and I was received into a bright white light, at which point everything faded, and a couple of something later, somebody brought me back to life.
Right, but was that a place that you'd like to spend eternity with?
No.
Bright light? No. Okay.
No.
Right. Okay. So my point is not you don't want to spend it. And by the way, that describes the average experience of people dying, coming back to life, is usually including a bright light at the end of the thing. It's a known phenomenon. It probably has to do with the chemistry of the brain. But imagine that you could go. You're sitting in your armchair. You're 10 years away from death, but you're not having a good time anymore. All your relatives are dead because you outlived them, and you want to go someplace that's really nice that you could spend the rest of eternity, but you don't want to go unless you can be sure. So somebody gives you and this is a TV series. It's called Black Mirror. Somebody gives you the ability to visit the world that you will live in for eternity, but you can't go for very long, because what they have to do is they have to essentially kill you on Earth for a short period of time, and then while you're dead, they transfer you into this computer where you can enjoy eternity, okay? And you can meet people, and you're young, and you can be whoever you want and have love affairs, which is the point of this video. It's fantastic. This woman has a love affair, and you will love it. And it's my favorite video almost ever.
What's the name of it?
It's Black Mirror is the name of the Netflix series. It has 4 or 5 seasons. I think the 4th season, not the last season, but the one before the last, there's a one show called San Junipero. And it begins with a woman walking down the street, kind of lost and unsure of herself. And it ends fantastically. And I'm giving it away by saying so she can visit this place and know, but this place is a computer program. Visit the computer program. Your consciousness is transferred to the computer program. And now, and you live your life there forever. Now she comes back. She chooses eventually to go to this place. And I've given away the entire punchline, by the way, because the punchline is that she chooses to go there. But the point is, would you kill yourself in order to go visit someplace that is a computer program, but you're dead? Do you trust the software well enough to go there? Would you like to put your name on the list before you go? If you're planning to come back? If you're planning to come back. I need a pen, which I need.
Here.
Thank you. Yeah. And if you're not planning to come back, you don't have to put it down. It's just, so the thing is, are you assuming, here's the question, do you assume that your soul and your consciousness can be transferred to a computer program? That's the key. Would you trust that computer program to have your soul? I know I'm not religious, and I'm certainly not a believer in God, and I certainly don't believe in soul. But I also don't believe that I can enter some computer program with my soul traveling with me. So the question, and for that matter, would you enter a teleportation device like on Star Trek, where they go from A to B? Would you enter that device and you go from A to B? A gets destroyed in the process of building B, and you assume that the soul is going from A to B. I don't think so. So Elaine,
Yeah.
would you step into a device that wipes you out and you transfer from A to B and your soul is recreated at B? Okay? Because if you would do that, then you could also buy into the idea that we live in a computer simulation and that your soul is being simulated.
Well, at this point in time, I probably would, because I'm so old that.
Would you trust it without any further, if some person, snake oil salesman, because you don't get a report. You don't get a report. You don't get a report of whether or not there's something on the other side. You're just told, enter this, you'll be cool on the other side, and you have to trust. So would you do it? Without evidence. Without evidence. That's the voice. I'm going to take your question.
No,
I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
I'd like her to try to answer that first, and I'll give my answer.
Okay. Right. Or anybody else. I'm asking Elaine because you brought it up.
Well, at this point in time, I wouldn't have too much to lose.
Wouldn't have too much to lose. So you do it. Okay, what do you say?
My feeling is, one is that it's reconstituting yourself from A to B. They take your not your genes, your atoms,
Yes.
and they are instantly reconstituted somewhere else. Like with certain parts of certain stem cells.
Yeah.
You can have stem cells that are doing a heart, or they could make a tooth.
What about
Or they-
your soul? What
My
about
feeling
your-
is that you can't predict the stability of this entity becoming that entity with your soul intact. I would assume that this could go kablooey.
Because I could even prove you could go kablooey. Because if you can make one of you, you can make two of you. Two of you with the same soul. Then you both of you meet. Hi, I'm Marion.
So am I.
Yeah. So what's your answer?
Well, a couple of comments to make. In engineering, when we want to see if a device is good, this is a concept known as skin in the game. The idea is to get the engineer to try out his invention. So, for example, a car. The engineer should be able to drive his own car, so he's confident that it's a good car. So you're saying no evidence, but there should be the engineer should have skin in the game and demonstrate that it's.
Well, wait a second. So I'm saying is, I put you in the teleporter. Okay. You come out the other end. Okay. I interview you. I say, what's your name, by the way? What's your name?
Alexander.
Alexander. Hi. Alexander B over here. Alexander A has been destroyed. Alexander B, how you doing? How's your soul? Alexander B goes, not bad at all. I'm feeling good. My soul's feeling good. No change. I'm feeling exactly the way I was when I stepped into the transporter. One small detail, you're dead at A. Okay? Would you step into the transporter at A and be dead? Get dead. And because I can ask B and he's gonna verify that he's good. But you're dead. Because Alexander A is dead. Would you step into the transporter, Alexander A?
Yeah, sure.
You would. So I call this the transporter the transporter test for the belief in the existence of a soul. Do you believe in the soul?
Me? No.
Only atheists or people who don't believe in the soul, in my view, would step into such a device. Even though I'm an atheist, I wouldn't step into that device.
Well, yeah, there could be an engineering glitch. So,
Without engineering glitches, promise of 100% accuracy, even though that's not possible. Did you? We have somebody leaving, and are you trying to get my attention? No. Okay. Yes.
My friend just went across country in a driverless car, in a self-driving car,
Yeah.
which his wife wouldn't go with him.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not doing it. And he went 5,000 miles and trusted that the car wouldn't have an accident. And he had some near misses because of unexpected things that came from the side and light, things like that.
Yeah.
That to me was a tremendous experiment, not
Yeah.
that I would take. But I really think, like stem cells, you cannot predict that you will come out there from what came out there. Even if you think your soul, whatever that is,
No.
is okay, it doesn't mean that it is okay. It doesn't mean that you are the same person, because there's no guaranteeing that you are.
Absolutely. I missed the part. I went over. I did not discuss the part where this is impossible. Okay. I skipped the "this is impossible" part of that conversation.
Pass this back.
Because you're absolutely right. This is impossible. But it was, as Einstein said, a Gedanken experiment, right? But really to test whether or not you believe in the soul, and whether or not, and furthermore, whether we live in a computer program.
The only soul you have is what you have passed on to your next generation.
Right. Did everybody sign this? Or no?
No.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
No. Yes, please, would you, and your pen? That's what my parents told me. Immortality, the immortality you have is what you pass on to future generations. Although, I have to say, that's true for all of you in the room, okay? That's not true for me, okay? Because what I'm doing is I'm on my gravestone, okay? I plan to have a QR code. You know, one of those little barcodes, right? You point your camera at it, okay? And suddenly it brings up a website, okay?
Right.
So I have approximately 500 gigabytes worth of my life on a hard disk, okay, and hopefully, but right now it's just going to access my own bio, which is going to say, gee, I was born in such and such a date, and these are the things I did in my life, okay, and that's going to be my immortality. My kids aren't going to pass anything on except, oh, your grandfather was an astronomer, he was this kind of guy. I don't care what my kids have to say about me. I want to talk about me, and I'm having it on a QR code, and it's going on my grave.
It's not what they say about you, it's what you have. They have osmosed from who you are.
Well, if it's what they have osmosed from whom I am, then I'm going to be in conversation with both of my kids in the near future to find out why both of them are so angry, okay, in life, okay? And I'm speaking to my wife, who says to me, well, they got it from you. And I'm going, no, they didn't get it from me.
What are they angry about?
Angry in life, okay?
About what?
About whatever it is that you didn't do right and they needed done and you didn't understand the first time. They get you for it.
Well, they're very immature.
They're very immature. My kids are not immature. Thank you very much. My kids are spectacular. They just, whatever they are, then I'm immature as well.
I don't get that from my kids at all.
Well, of course,
My grandkids.
your kids got something else from you. Apparently, my kids were sitting suckling at my wife's breast and at my teat as well, learning anger. Okay, that's what I've apparently passed on. I mean, hopefully, I've passed on a questioning point of view in life.
Maybe they're not old enough to know what.
They're 40 years old.
It
Come
doesn't
on.
matter.
The brains mature when they're 30. You don't get smart. You get smarter. Anyway, I'm not hoping that my legacy is my children because my parents died, both of them, before my children were born. And no matter how much I try to tell my children about my parents, they're going, oh, yeah, okay, I heard that story before. Yeah, I heard that story before. Okay, cool. You have any new stories? So anything I can pass on about my parents have been told in the form of stories already. My parents said the same thing to me. You live on through your children. I get it. I'm there. I understand it. But just in case I'm going to have a QR code on my gravestone, just in case they don't get it. Okay?
Well, first of all, it's not only what you have passed on, it's what's in the gene. I mean, I look at my grandkids now, we're in their 20s, and I see it. I see my husband, I see his attitudes, they never even met him.
Agreed. Of course. Of course.
Their values are the same.
Walt Disney, who was very far, I mean, he had his problems, but he was very far-seeing in terms of science and technology, has himself frozen cryogenically when the time comes that he can be revivified. I guess he's been paying lots of money.
Yeah.
He will be revivified if it is possible.
If it's possible.
Yeah, but I think your idea is terrific.
Which one?
The QR idea is
code on-
terrific
Right.
because you will be living insofar as people are concerned. If I look at this video and I see you in the website, that's almost as good as seeing you in the flesh because you'll be in the flesh in ideas, in thought, in verbality, verbiality,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's close to a word.
Verbosity.
It's close to a word.
Verbosity. And I think it's a splendid idea.
Thank you.
It's not
Well, it may
necessary.
be a good idea, however, technology changes faster than a speeding bullet, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so, as I recall, there were tapes that were found that NASA couldn't even read
Right.
because the technology had changed, and nobody thought to save the technology. So,
No, you're absolutely right. My problem with the QR code that I'm coming up with, there are a few problems with it. The main one being technology. So that who's going to keep the website up and pay for the website to stay up? Past the 20 years that my kids go, why am I paying money for this on a monthly basis? He's dead already.
It's all intrinsic.
So that, I know this is, if I could find a way to pay for a website in perpetuity, I'd be the first one to buy it. I literally would. Yes.
Yeah, I got a question. Why are you assuming that you're going to die?
Well, I'm not assuming, but I'm going to. Well, yeah. I don't know how to answer
And
that.
also, why are you assuming there's a soul?
I'm not assuming.
Everyone has a soul.
I'm not. You said you didn't believe in it, so you're not qualified
We're
to.
operating under the assumption there's a soul.
No,
right?
no. Okay, okay. Here's the thing. First of all, people believe that they have a soul. You don't. That's great. Actually, kudos for you.
I don't.
Kudos. What? You don't. You don't. So-
What is a soul?
Okay. No. Don't. Please. No definitions. No definitions. But.
That's really your essence.
Right. No, the person that's standing up here doing what I'm doing, I don't know where it comes from. I literally do not know where it's coming from, what I'm doing right here. The words that are coming out of my mouth are being, I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, I don't.
Computer simulation.
I'm a simulation of myself. I don't really know what the soul is, except I feel I have it, but I do. But here's what I think. I do not think that the soul is different. I do not believe it's some part of me which exists outside of the parts of me. I do believe that the soul is created from the parts of me. And when I die, I do believe the soul dies with me. I do believe that. I do not believe it goes on forever. Yes.
You should have no problem going through the duplicator. If your connect on includes your soul, no problem.
Yeah, but I know, but the problem with that is, although I just said what I just said, that I believe it's part of me, I'm not sufficiently convinced to step into that device, because
Thank you.
it doesn't feel right. It feels like it's more than
It's
some-
already been passed in your gene pool.
not so much the soul. I have to say, there's one thing more about my gravestone. If you survive me, when you go visit it, there will be on the gravestone an invitation, and the invitation will say, not just do the QR code. That will be just obvious. There will be, "Hi, I know I'm dead, but I'm really curious. Tell me what I missed." And that's what's going to be on the gravestone. So if you come, there's some part of me that says that doesn't work quite as a scientist, because it looks like I believe in immortality. But no, the thing that I really will miss most about being dead is not knowing what's going on. So I've invited all of you and anybody who passes by to stand by my grave and recite the things that I missed. Because that's it. That's what if I die before the next election, I really need to know who wins. Yes.
Maybe a graffiti on your stone that says you missed the disappearance of QR codes.
Right. Because QR cards are what? It's going to be around for a decade at most, and then
Yeah.
right.
You could pay.
Not even.
You could prepay, like Walt Disney.
No, I can't prepay. Find me a website and buy prepaid. Find me a company that has been guaranteed by Congress never to go out of business. Besides Congress. Yes.
I was just going to say that I believe, and if I'm wrong, someone please correct me here, that the Jewish practice of putting a stone on a headstone or
Yeah.
whatever, my husband's in the crypt, buried, but has to do with the soul visiting another soul. Now, I don't personally.
Okay, I didn't know what the stones were for.
I believe that is the essence of it. But to say that I believe it is another thing.
You had a question.
But I still do.
Actually, since we're on the soul, I forgot it, but I thought of something else. So since we're on the soul thing, I got a question. If we put copper tab in one of these transportation machines, would it be ethical, assuming there's a soul, because he has no soul?
If we put who in this?
Copper tab.
Who's he?
The angry redheaded ginger.
No.
No, different generation.
No, we don't.
Generation or two
You're the
ahead of
youngest
us.
person in this room. We're all at least a generation older than you. What are you talking about?
I'm saying, because we're assuming there's a soul, right?
Yeah.
we're just for the sake of argument, let's assume there's a soul.
Yeah.
So if we took Copper Cab and put him in
Who's Copper Cab?
Yes.
the angry ginger kid. Because
Who's the angry ginger kid?
Copper, I'll show you later.
Okay.
Is it a comic book character?
No, I'll show you later.
Okay.
I think there was a crossword clue recently had something like that.
Yes.
I didn't know the answer.
Listen, I know this disagrees with everybody.
What a surprise.
I believe that we have an astral body, an etheric body, an energy body, along with the material body that survives death. We call it a soul, but you're going to be in, I think you're going to be in for a big surprise. Me too.
That's
So,
wonderful.
You mean you think you'll remember that you were here?
Well, listen, when you're on the other side,
Yeah,
because I assume that you did nothing to get to the other side.
You will be on the other
Okay, so
side.
when because we'll both be there. I don't have to be good. I don't have to be
again.
special. I don't have to believe in anything to get to the other side. When I'm on the other side, look me up, and I will repent everything I've ever said in this class. I think that's it for today.